Team Liquid versus Ground Zero Gaming. This is Europe's #2 seed and the reigning champions versus OCE's #1. I am Stumpy, joined by the wonderful, the miraculous, the pink-tide spaceman. What a pleasure it is to be with you.
It's great to be back with you as well, brother. I didn't expect all those adjectives. I gotta be a little bit flustered. But you know who shouldn't be going into this? Ground Zero. I talked to Super Lucky a little bit. He was having some good vibes, some good spirits going into this series. But if it's gonna take a masterclass, better hope everybody else on the other side of the field does that as well, because Team Liquid, one of the best mechanical teams in the world, and they're not gonna give you anything but all they got.
I think it's not much of a secret to say that I am a bit of a Team Liquid fanboy, seeing as I also do their team streams every single Friday.
Is that so?
But I'm also probably one of their biggest critics alongside Cole. They have got holes that Ground Zero are going to be able to break through. They love to commit a lot. You see Oski and Atto push up incredibly far and leave a Chronic right at the back. That's been less so recently, hence a lot more of their success. However, those do still exist. Ground Zero can keep sending threatening shots just towards the blue goal. I think that you will find a couple of goals may well find their way in. Oski missing the double, and the second follow-up for Atto somehow doesn't find its way in.
I guess we're just going to ricochet off the post to start this series.
Cool.
That's a great way to open up this best of 5. But for Team Liquid coming in, right, they're great at avoiding pressure and very demo heavy. We expect that physicality to continue as a redirect almost sends it on its way for a 1-0 lead. But with about a minute burned so far here in game 1, you're looking at the pressure right now from Ground Zero at midfield, doing a great job of cutting up those passes and keeping Liquid on their feet.
There's lots of opportunities, I feel, for Liquid to be able to work into the Ground Zero half too, because they have got those superior mechanics. They will be luring in Ground Zero a lot of the time too, where Ground Zero will want to shut them down. You cannot give Liquid space. You can't give any of these highly mechanical teams any space whatsoever. However, you can definitely take that too far, because Liquid, if they do manage to just outboost you, which, my word, do they like to do, they're going to be able to work around any defense that you are going to be theoretically putting up.
Resource management's going to be big for Ground Zero in this best of 5. Looking against their series in Team Secret, it was tough. They were low constantly, playing the small pads, just trying to hold on to possession. But so far, it has been a valiant fare at midfield, right? Looks like for now, Liquid will hold on possession. Atto slowing on the catch, open net. It's so easy for Liquid up 1-0.
Wonderful pass to start us off here too. From the middle, Atto finds Oski on the right. A beautiful pass back down to, almost goes at a negative angle back behind him. The catch, the flick, and boots him out of the net. 3:10 on the clock. Liquid, a 1-0 lead.
I mean, you can't say much more about the defense to start for Ground Zero, but that's the relentless pressure you're going to get from Liquid. It's a cyclical offense when all three are pushed up at the same time. They love applying pressure in the thirds, and they do so to start off with a pinch and clear on a double commit that will leave it way to the midfield line where Super Lucky will gain possession.
3 minutes on the clock, and Ground Zero wanting to start off a little bit of this pressure. Instead, though, it falls to Oski in the midfield with 10 boost. He gets a reset over the top of Fiber, and a Chronic can tap it again. Those double touches when he goes to the reset. Always reminds me of Fairy Peak when he gets that second one, flicks it over the top. It's a 1v1 move, but Oski doing it wonderfully there as we approach now half-time in this first game. Group C is one of those groups that we were looking at earlier as well and saying that is the group of life for Liquid. But we've seen G1. They went through phase. Yep. No team is safe.
I mean, the interesting thing to start here, you got 2 demos in favor of Ground Zero. Liquid still hunting for their first. So physicality favoring right now Ground Zero, but Liquid are avoiding a lot of that pressure even when it comes into the outer lanes, and they're cutting down these clears. It's really big for Chronic to continue to do what he does best, as he will try to move upfield, but it could be a breakaway chance. Oski trying to hunt him down, and Atto will clear off the play with that possession for the moment here for Liquid.
Until then it becomes a 2v1 with a Chronic now following up in the sky. Super Lucky is caught pushing his way out and just gets shipped with the final touch.
It's these small micro adjustments. So Oski's going to win the 50, and a Chronic just burns all of this boost just high enough to get over the backline defender. You beat the safety to his own net, and from there, it's enough altitude for Liquid to work with. It's these small mechanics that they do so well, and in a team like Ground Zero, they have to be ready for it.
2-0, 2 minutes, and in round 2, we find ourselves Super Lucky taking a shot on target, nearly chips over the top of a Chronic, isn't able to on that opportunity. With a miss on the sidewall, now leaves Atto in a 1v1, does get beaten out by Kaka. Final touch from Oski, shooting the opposite bottom corner. My word, man, just tap it in ever so gently for the third.
I guess we're giving high fives and big 50 wins because there's an immediate demo in the corner and you're left on a lone some just 1v1 island play. The goalie can't go anywhere except look up and hope that you got a wing and a prayer. Team Liquid are up 3-0 and we got a minute 47.
What a lovely touch from Oski too. Just realizing that, okay, if I send this opposite bottom corner, then I will be getting at least a brilliant chance to be scoring here, and does manage to do so. The nice chip across. Super Lucky removed from the pitch. A Chronic removing a single player.
In the past minute, we've gone from 0 demos for Liquid to 5. They've picked up the physicality, and it started to break down the backline defense at ground zero. No wonder the score has continued, and a Chronic from the back wall looking for a second touch, but Super Lucky will try to clear. Now the offense swings in, and Liquid are pushed upfield.
Atto an opportunity to get it towards one of his fellow teammates, and able to, and Kaka now continuing down the pitch. With Oski into that back right corner, passed it off to Atto. In the center with a minute remaining, he goes completely forgoes the ball, goes for the bump instead, and Atto doesn't need to touch the ball, just needs to boot the man in the face.
He pulled up from the 4th dimension and said, guess what? I'm going to put this right over your necks, and I'm going to slam it down on your head just like that. A very easy and quick read from Team Liquid, 4-0. If you're ground zero, you got to find a way to stop the bleeding, whether that comes through a singular goal or holding possession. They need some positivity right now, and they just don't have it. Fiber trying to create that play.
It's also such consistent bleeding. It's been roughly 1 every minute.
There it is.
Until Kaka, about 4 seconds after Liquid get theirs from the kickoff. Fantastic pass across, 5 with a 50 along with Atto. Locky realizing that Kaka's sitting central and going to the left-hand side of the net. Ground zero with their first goal versus one of Europe's best.
And the benefits of winning that kickoff is you get infield space, you get opportunities there in the gaps. As soon as Liquid are hunting for boost, there's your time to strike. But yet again, off the kickoff, you'll punch it downfield. Atto will try to take it off his own backboard, will be unsuccessful. Through the corners we go, trying to conquer that side of the field. It's ground zero, essentially making everything out of nothing for now, but they'll still fight for those 50s. Team Liquid just have to burn 44 seconds or so.
Great idea from Five to shoot there. I really like that. It was probably not going to go in, but it just means that the defense can't be thinking, I can get a nice big clear here. And it continues this pressure. Ground zero, building off that first touch to go central again. Fiber to shoot, but no opportunity. 25 seconds. Ground zero need to be picking up 3 more. But now as Liquid are going to be attacking as hard as they possibly can, those chances just become slimmer and slimmer.
Under a third of a minute here to go. We'll look for Super Lucky to try to find this clear hold possession, but I think this one is pretty much all but written. It was an opening flurry of shots and possessions. Quality ones of that from Team Liquid as they will kill this one down to the ground, and ground zero will be looking for the next chance in game number 2. But to start, Team Liquid just looked like the Team Liquid we expected. Mechanics were there, infield passing, the pressure was consistent. They found those demos as this game went on, and with that, they're up 1-0.
13 shots in total for Team Liquid against the 6 that Ground Zero managed to take as well. And 4-1, it's a brilliant start for them, and continuing their form that they were in previously versus Gladiators. Well, there was like a 6-0 in there as well. I think they were all at least 4 goal games. So Liquid continuing that trend. They're very dominant looking so far, Winter Major.
13 shots to what, 6? If my caster math does it well. That just shows you everything you need to know about how this series went, or at least the start of this game 1 went. Even looking at the saves across the board, everybody was involved. The full 3-man offense for Liquid is there, and the counterattacks were lethal as well. Stumpy, I mean, ground zero, you can only do so much, but it's difficult when there's just not that many assists for a team that's very good at that.
Ground zero, I think when you go from OCE, which is so far removed from literally the rest of the world geographically,
Sure.
It becomes so much harder than to be scrimming top teams. Ground zero are up there in OCE. They are sitting as the #1 seed. And then you run into the #2 of Europe so early on, and it's a tough group for you as well. I don't know what the theory is. I think Jorby had it right, but he was saying, don't panic. Don't think too much. Don't get into your own heads. Don't be thinking, okay, we need to change everything. We need to do this, this. Don't overwhelm yourself. Know that you're good at Rocket League. Know that you can be a threatening force versus Team Liquid.
Sure.
But also realize that it's literally Team Liquid, and they are also going to be going into this series so phenomenally confident.
And you have to go in with expectations, but also try to keep the game simple and not outwork yourself and overcommit on a lot of those challenges you're used to making. Again,
don't put too much on your plate.
Exactly. Look, this is still Rocket League. It's the same game you had when you were winning championships, the same game you had when you were losing tournaments. It doesn't matter what you show up with, as long as you give it your best foot forward, you're probably going to have a pretty good day on the field. We'll just see how they make small adjustments going in to game number 2 with 30 seconds burned. So far, ground zero just trying to hold on to possession. Again, the offense continues. Team Liquid putting pressure on early and not giving up the ball.
A very sloppy double commit coming out. That fortunately not leading to a goal against ground zero there, as Team Liquid aren't able to pick up anything from it. Atto to the ceiling, completely unchallenged for a while until Fiber does get up nice and early. But with 0 boost, he can't be continuing. Now just picking up pennies as the offense carries on around him. Super Lucky into the sky with a Chronic just going up, knowing that Atto's behind him. And forcing Super Lucky to relinquish all control of the ball there is precisely what the first man needs to be doing when in a defensive position.
Ground Zero come into this series with one of the best percentages in assists across the entirety of the RLCS world. And so far, they've only found maybe 1-2 so far in this entire series. Granted, it's only been one game they found a goal, but they still need to kick that up. They need to find a way to find those infield passes, find one another more often. We'll just flip it towards the back wall. Super Lucky will bring it back down to earth. Now an escape for a chance. Kaka in the wing gets the cross and the call, playing it through the corner. That's how we'll grab boost. Resources here for Team Liquid, full in the tank, and he escapes on the counterattack but misses his touch. That could have been a 1-0 lead.
Couldn't quite manage to tap it on, just as Oski did in that first game. 3 minutes 20 remaining on the clock. Is now possession falling towards Super Lucky into the sky. Sees Fiber Central. Very basic flip just to get it a little bit further, but instead Oski is able to challenge. Kaka, seeing that it nearly hits the ceiling, instead slowing it down completely, but Atto is able to challenge it nice and early as well. Acronic to tap it onwards.
They're making these reads so quickly on the defensive end. Liquid are up, meeting that pass, meeting those challenges, getting the ball out on a clear. Super Lucky going to carry the 1-2 almost on a direct give and go. That would have been a beautiful way to turn the tides of this series, but Ground Zero still hunting, still praying for an opening lead, and they're going to have to play some immaculate defense to start.
But we mentioned how much Liquid are around this pitch and how much they're challenging Ground Zero. That comes at a cost, and that cost is boost. They burn through more than any other team. At the top of the boost usage is Atto and Oski. They basically take down their boost button with no regard for anybody else on the pitch. And Ground Zero, that is such a horrible thing to deal with. But if you can make sure that you know, hey, they're going to be rushing through these balls, change the pace, slow it down, make them fly past you.
I mean, it's tough to change the pace when Oski's already on the side wall, reading your connection downfield and taking possession right back. Liquid are more than happy to give up this demo as long as it means there's a third man up, constantly applying pressure and hunting like a shark for this ball. Acronic will be on the ceiling. Atto on a 1v1. Kaka trying to get it over, but Oski rotates into the play. Now to the corner we go. Boost resources here as Oski clears it out and just gives it right back to the defensive hole, but Acronic will steal it yet back right toward the backboard, but immediately cleared away. And Ground Zero recognizing the pressure here from Liquid. They just got to clear this one out.
Very important touch from Kaka there in defense. Manages to get out of the way of Acronic when that double was near enough nailed on to be getting the first goal. And they have held out incredibly well. Ground Zero, as we approach 1 minute 40, held it down to a 0-0. The Cursed Cast calls it an Atto with that first goal on Forbidden Temple.
Once you start to feel comfortable upfield, you might start double committing, and that's exactly what happened there. Oski and Attal working in tandem. You get one swing pass, and all of a sudden, it's just a cut, kind of on an L shape up into the lane, and it's an open net. You can't really guard that with little boost. Ground Zero did all they could, and they did it well, but not enough, and now they have to respond.
Acronic from the kickoff with the reset changes that pace entirely, but then forces Fiber to be coming out, does so and gets the defense. Atto can't get the second touch, instead goes for the man yet again, pushes it back, flicks it high, but nobody there to receive. Instead, Fiber, with 90 seconds remaining, is going to be forcing that ball across.
I mean, Attal was just rotating back into the play and taking out members of Ground Zero. Every time you think you're getting a one-on-one clear, your teammate's going down. Kaka trying to put it on the opposite post, does enough damage to get it upfield, but you need numbers to stay up. You can't afford to go down another man on these counterattacks. Liquid are getting threatening, and they're doing it very quickly.
I do think though that the pace of Ground Zero is really picking up until Oski, my word, jumping over the top, putting two hands on the defender's shoulder and heading that ball top right.
There's just not enough boost. The most is Fiber, and Oski is there for the connection. I mean, talk about the three-headed hydra of Liquid, how good their mechanics are, how constantly they're applying pressure upfield. When you're constantly down a man for Ground Zero, it's going to be tough, but you could also potentially win it on the kickoff. Down 2-0, still plenty of time here, under 60 to play. But you got to slow down Liquid. It has not stopped since game one.
They are full force, full speed. Just hold down your trigger and go for it. And it makes it a lot of fun to watch, but my word, is it hell to play against.
And these kind of lateral movements where you're just giving the ball to Oski, letting him run point and throw it upfield, that's killing time off the clock. That's time that Ground Zero desperately need, and Liquid are more than happy to give away. You're under 30 here now, and you're just hoping you get a quick goal in transition.
And Oski again, just dribbling it up in the sky, juggling the ball, keeping away and burning these seconds, making sure that Ground Zero, in this more threatening game that they have had compared to the 4 we saw in the first, maybe potentially going to be 3 going in, but a good save away from Lockie. Atto slowing it down once again. Any goal they get is just going to be stat padding at this point. I saw Rise earlier tweet during the 6-0, but Liquid are just stat padding at this point. They're just getting as many goals as they possibly can, make themselves look as good as possible. Oski with that triple reset, nothing to come from it till Acronic shoots, touches the floor at the hand of the defender. Team Liquid are 1 away from sweeping yet again and going unbeaten in games so far at the major.
Team Secret is one beast, Liquid is a whole other one. We have to talk about a completely different region at that point, but let's also talk about the playstyle change. Boost resources, burning it, constantly applying pressure, the lateral movement, the constant challenges, the demos, the physicality, the presence of mind, the spatial awareness. Liquid have all of it. It's no surprise if they make a deep run in this tournament. Anybody would be shocked by that. But what we are shocked so far is maybe just the lack of adjustments from Ground Zero, as they have relinquished some demos, given some as well, but they have struggled to hold on to possession downfield and been burned on those counterattacks far too often.
But I mean, statistically in that game, a lot closer. 7 shots Liquid, 5 shots Ground Zero. We then look at the saves. It was 5 for Liquid, 3 for Ground Zero. Demos, 5 apiece. They've had 50% possession each as well. Near enough dead on. Yep. However, Liquid just having that final killer instinct, that final touch that could pierce the skin of Ground Zero. And as we go into the third game, Liquid going on for potentially, are you confident it's going to be a 3-0?
I mean, look, at this point, you'd have to see the way the tides are turning. The momentum is on Liquid's side, but when you look at the fact that the possession time was around 50-50 split for both teams, the first two things we look at after that, pressure time and plays upfield, and who was burning a lot of that boost. Pressure time was all Liquid. Most of the possessions that you're looking at for Ground Zero came on their own side of the field. And then it also just kind of swings back to who are the best mechanical players on the field. It's all Liquid. They have every resource in the toolkit to get this one done. And if that's the case, you're hoping not only for an anomaly to happen, but you can beat them on possession, beat them on the pressure, and then start taking out all those mechanical players with the demos. It's going to be very, very tough if they want to keep this one moving forward. But for Ground Zero, you got your work cut out for you. You got to start putting this chisel to the marble, and if you're lucky enough, you might be able to make some cracks fall. But for now, it's up to Oski. You got a point man running through the corners, trying to steal boost, getting physical. Fiber just trying to clear it out of his own lane, and Akronic's going to throw it towards the back wall, where you're hoping to raggle in this possession, but it's not going to be good enough. Liquid are just too dominant right now in the offensive third, and they just look like they're on an absolute tear through the start of our major here today. Atao comes up the lane, cuts it down, and with that, a 1-0 lead, 4:37. We keep this one moving forward. We hope you guys are enjoying the show so far. If you are, let us know in the Twitch chat. Round 2 of Group C underway, and Liquid are looking to start off their major tournament run undefeated so far. 2-0 up in this game, 30 seconds, burn here. In this game number 3, up 2-0 in the series. Acronic trying to make it a 2-0 game. Bullies him off the backboard. Now possession back to Liquid. They'll kick this one free and shovel it through the side. Atao with a beautiful redirect, but quickly careen and take it back out as Super Lucky tried to find the possession, but Otsuki and Atao are certainly there. They'll play this one close into the lane. All of a sudden, you're looking at another swing up towards the opposite corner. Now playing that ball adjacently, it's Osuki as the third man. Atao rotating back in, and Super Lucky will yet again come out of his own spot to hold on to this ball. We're looking for possessions now for Ground Zero. When we look at the start of this series, it was the demos, sure, but Liquid eventually started to respawn, and with that, we are wondering where the possession time will come in for Ground Zero, because they've been so much struggling when it comes to really holding on to that ball long term for this series, but Liquid had their way and their way only to start this one. And Stumpy, it's really just essentially been all of the Liquid show.
Just, I've seen Oski a couple of times just slanging it down the pitch, making sure that no one from Ground Zero is going to be feeling confident in any of their touches. Again, chasing that ball. Here's see ball, go ball at every opportunity that he has got. Again, sidewall gets the reset on the block. It manages to find the back ball for Ground Zero, but Atto is there. Again, the positioning from Liquid is near perfect. They are filling every single crack that they have got. And that swipe across the net, Acronic nearly getting the second goal in favor of Liquid.
And the speed ball, go ball is the gamer's circadian rhythm. They just decided, hey, we're going to start flying at possession. And Oski's going to reset off the backboard. What a beautiful read. And a great defensive stop from Ground Zero, but the work isn't done yet. And Acronic is not going to continue to double tap if anybody's in front of the net. So he's going to wait for a clear lane and put this one away.
2 for Liquid, and Ground Zero find themselves right again on that cusp of going 0-3. Earlier on versus Secret, they did not have a great time. They got into an overtime, sure, in game number 3. They got better throughout that series, but it was still 0-3. It was still not what they have come here to do.
And again, Team Secret, very good squad, not the same as Liquid. And when it comes down to some of those micro decisions, the manageables that you want in this kind of series, you're very much hoping for Liquid to continue to do their mechanical prowess, what they've done so well throughout the majority of their runs in Europe. For Ground Zero, just small adjustments that really haven't been made. And it comes down to the boost management. It comes down to the counterattacks down the middle of the field. But Fiber, reset off the sidewall, cleared away, and Team Liquid now starting to press. They're going to try to hold on to possession before Kaka continues to make this one difficult, and just getting in the jaws of Liquid will be enough to slow it, but the counterattack blossoms on the opposite side. Super Locket through the corner will get boost for the moment. Bumped off the play, teammates are there for support. 2:20 on your clock through the opposite corner. Super Locket continuing it, but it's Goski leaving way and running ransom right now as he'll hold everybody from Ground Zero hostage. and they just can't seem to get any kind of hold on this game, let alone this series down 2-0. They desperately need a goal here. Crossing pounder gets broken up quickly in the air. Liquid still finding ways to make it difficult, and they might have just punched this one free for a 3-0 lead. They absolutely did that. 158, and Liquid might win this series.
Atto managing to get out from the back ball with Oski managing to send it high. The third man comes in. What a performance so far this has been for Team Liquid. Ground Zero have really struggled to get anything going realistically. It has not been their series so far, but it's day one. They have got Gladiators as their third match. A very unfortunate touch for them, but it's Liquid. They're starting to play with their food. Oski didn't take the easy shot there. He thought, no, I'll go for a cycle off the right wall. Doesn't matter. We're already up 3-0.
I mean, look, you look at this series in totality. We still got a lot of time here in this game. There have been chances here for Ground Zero. There's been opportunities, sure, but not as much as you would expect because Team Liquid have just been overwhelming defensively. Offensively, in the counterattacks, the transitions have been clean. They're putting out demos. They're getting pressure. It has been so difficult for Ground Zero to find any semblance of an offense. Their best shots really so far in the series have just been soft touches towards the backboard. Maybe Fiber going up for an extra 50 for hopefully a dunk. But after that, they're losing possession. They're getting beat on these transitions. Oski's overextending upfield, getting boost, and taking resources away in the corner.
I love that he was just waiting there, thinking, well, the ball's going to get her at some point. There's no point me coming all the way back and then managing to then get that second touchdown. Just making those movements down the pitch show sheer, utter, undying confidence for Team Liquid. And why would they not have it? A fake out, and the pass central again from Atto with 50 seconds remaining. Ground Zero can shoot on target as much as they like, but Oski with zero boost is still able to clear it away. Can Acronic get a bit of a belter here? You bet he's going to be trying.
It would almost be fitting if this series ends on a 3-0 game 3, but right now, it's just absolute pandemonium on the goal line. It is chaotic. It's a cluster. We're stuck in traffic right now. That ball will finally escape, but not before Liquid get their hands on it. And Atto going to slow it and play with his food here. 20 seconds to go. Want one for the road, a doggy bag goal, something to give the morales a boost. Ground Zero hunting, thriving for something, but it just isn't there, and Liquid are just playing with them right now.
10 seconds remain, and Team Liquid managing to 3-0 Ground Zero, going completely unbeaten thus far at the Winter Major. Congratulations to them, and Ground Zero, they have got a lot of work to do. They couldn't even get a garbage time goal, unfortunately, at the end. And everybody, you may have noticed that we're having just a few technical difficulties. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be showing you the beautiful B stream, so keep your eyes on here, and we are going to be back ever so shortly. So hang around and keep watching that B stream.